I played Cameria's Avarice, so you don't have to. The date is July 25th. Droves of people are putting down Path of Exile 1 after a month of not seeing the sun. Cool new builds have been found, which stack Energy Shield, or stack Energy Shield and Mana. Now, a quick search on PoE Ninja reveals that there are just 7 people on the ladder using one of the most buffed weapons this league, Cameria's Avarice. What is it? And is it really so bad? Yeah, it kind of is. Now, at the heart of Cameria's Avarice is an extremely interesting and rare interaction in Path of Exile 1, an attack that can be triggered by any hit, including itself, and spell hits, thanks to this property here called Icicle Burst. Now, of course, the enemy has to be frozen first. The Icicle Burst interaction is really unique because it is a projectile nova, and when paired with a source of return, whether by a Nimbus or returning projectile support, the projectiles can hit the same target again and trigger yet another Icicle Burst. Even more insane, Icicle Burst can trigger a spell via cast on critical strike, since the burst is itself an attack. So if you pick a spell that has, say, great synergy with projectiles, lots of hits and freezing, Ice Spear in my case, you're in for a good time. Now critically, the Icicle Burst Nova actually occurs at the site of the crit, not from you, which essentially allows a proliferation of projectiles and thus freezes as long as you have a line of sight to your targets. For example here, my Ice Spear flies out, freezes something at this corner, and another flying Ice Spear or Icicle Burst projectile hits this frozen target, and boom, a Nova explodes. It could crit, and then that could fire off more Ice Spears from this location. And that leads to quite a unique half-ass auto bomber, which is really satisfying with screen-wide freezes and auto-aim. Once you get a spray of projectiles going from your first cyclone, you can walk through the map as new freezes, hits, and CoCs fill the screen. And I know all about CoC filling the screen. Now, Cameria's Avarice has existed for about 7 years, but it's never really found great success because the condition of it proccing off frozen enemies made it feel like a win more button rather than a really useful interaction. This is because odds are if you could outright freeze an enemy in one hit, your average cold hit was so strong it would have died pretty soon anyway. And then it became somewhat useless on bosses because to get over the threshold for a minimum duration freeze was really difficult, right? Your cold hits are not big enough. This all changed with the rework of the Raider into Warden, and more particularly this node, Hoarfrost. What's that? Oh, it's called Oath of Winter, not Hoarfrost? Okay. Oh, anyway, Hoarfrost essentially allows you to stockpile all the trash, low duration freezes that are usually discarded into 1 giga freeze, allowing you to freeze virtually anything. Even pinnacle bosses, any boss with cannot be fully slowed in the description, while they won't actually stop in place, they will be considered frozen for effects like Heat Shiver, the Cold Frozen Mastery, and Icicle Burst. And boom! And so here's my assessment and what you came for. Number 1. A 212 strength requirement makes it very annoying to build for. I had to grab strength on my clusters, and this timeless jewel here is carrying it by giving me, I believe, over 30 strength. Number 2. Cameria's being a mace with no attack speed feels terrible. It's so hard to scale attack speed to hit your CoC thresholds. Number 3. It being a maze, does actually allow you to get Fortify easily through a Megalomaniac and this node called Overlord. And as you can see here, I can actually keep 20 stacks up easily, even on pinnacle bosses. Number 4. This flaw is huge. Cameria's is a recipe gated unique that doesn't have natural drops, so the problem here is that you wouldn't get decent or cheap corrupts at all, because no one's trying to corrupt it. You probably have to do it yourself, and that means buying all the parts, trading in the gems, and then failing at temples multiple times. It's not a good time. And unfortunately, all this footage is kind of hokum, and it's propped up seriously by, first of all, a Zealotry Wrath Mercenary with Dorianis, and me using Admiral, and then I had to wear a Mage Blood and use a Nimbus, and use Enlightened 4 to fit in Grease. So we're talking about like multiple hundreds of diffs of investment, and a league mechanic that will be going away soon. It is not cheap, and it'll look weak as shit next league without Mercs and Dorianis. I can't recommend this even for the memes. And right here you'll see, literally, I set up a weapon swap to Cospris, and this added about 160 million damage. Wait, did I just literally make a CoC Ice Spear CoC, did I? I guess I did. Ironically, this experiment does make a case for Ice Spear CoC characters who somehow have 212 strength to have a Camera's Avarice swap, because, well, this auto bomber mode, right, is actually kind of cool. It scales with all your existing vectors already. It makes it extremely safe as your freeze auto prolifs rather than you having the Cyclone into packs, which I believe was the weakest point of these Cyclone Ice Spear builds, right? And then you just swap back the Cospris for maybe like Ubers, not even map bosses. So guys, I think that's all I have for this league. I made some memes and, you know, some others that failed. It's been a really good league to all of us, right? I hope so. I'll still be answering comments, so thank you for all the kind words and your time on these videos. Peace out, exiles, and until we meme again.